seen in the past means anything, we're in for a treat. From Santiago, Cuba, Diosbelys Hurtado, undefeated, 16-0. Supposed to be a devastating knockout puncher, John. He's got 11 KOs. I was very surprised, though, to see journeyman Anthony Ivory go to distance with him in his last fight, going the full 8. But Ivory's held up under other heavy punches. I know he went the distance with Skipper Kelp as well. He's going to be fighting Cesar Flores, who comes in with a record of 14-7-1. And we're going to go up to our ring announcer, Chuck Hall, with the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the officials assigned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission for the final bout of the evening. The judges are Lou Tabbitt, Dave Moretti, and C.J. Ross. Your referee, once again, is Toby Gibson. The final event of the evening featuring 8 rounds of boxing in the junior welterweight division. Introducing in the blue corner from Sinaloa, Mexico, weighing in at 142 pounds with a professional record of 14 wins, 7 defeats, 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Cesar Flores. And in the red corner, fighting out of Santiago, Cuba, he too weighed in at 142 pounds. His professional record consists of 16 wins, no defeats, no draws, with 11 KOs. Here is the undefeated Diosbelys Hurtado.
All right, and heavyweight explosion, which is in the junior welterweight division right now, is brought to you tonight by Corona Extra, la cerveza más fina. And John, from everything I've heard, Hurtado's got a heavyweight punch.
I know one thing, he's got a great name for a fighter.
Hurtado.
And anybody from Cuba, I like to see fight.
23 years of age, started his pro career in the United States in December of '94. He, of course, his pro debut, he's undefeated. Cesar Flores out of Sinaloa, Mexico. I think Cesar is just happy to be in town, where he can either attend or watch closed circuit of the De La Hoya Chavez fight.
So everybody's really excited about that fight.
Care to give a prediction, John?
Sure. I like the kid in 12-round decision. I think it's going to be a more difficult fight than people anticipate. And I think Oscar's got to really step up to the plate, prove himself. We'll see how much Chavez has left. And, you know, obviously there's a great disparity in the size, the power, all the physical attributes De La Hoya has.
And it's interesting to watch Hurtado, who someday could be challenging an Oscar De La Hoya in a title shot or something. Same weight class. He's now 16-0.
Actually, I was waiting for your prediction. Now that I opened up my big mouth.
No, I like De La Hoya also. It's interesting that you say he'll go the distance.
And most people would pick Chavez in the distance fight.
No, I think De La Hoya hands down, personally. I look at it very similar. This fight reminds me a lot of Terry Norris and Sugar Ray Leonard. And that when you have a fighter that's never been stopped before, it's hard to picture him being stopped. And speaking of stopping, Hurtado's really tagging off now on Flores.
He is whacking him.
So, that being said, they have a tendency to gut it out. And I remember my prediction for Leonard and Norris was that Norris would win that fight by decision, that he would not stop Leonard. And Leonard went down, got knocked down, got bloodied, got puffed up, but he was there at the end of the fight, as a great champion is. And I think, as you say, a very good chance that Chavez will be there at the final bell. Under a minute to go in round number 1. Scheduled 8th rounder. Diosbelys Hurtado, he's in the striped shorts, blue and white. Cesar Flores out of Mexico, he's in the golden green sort of schmata shorts.
I like those trunks.
You like those, huh? They have his name on them. Under 30 seconds ago. Oh,
that helps the announcer.
Hurtado's got so many good moves. This is a lot of skill. Such a sharp fighter. Right hand lead. Hooks off the jab beautifully.
I don't think I've ever seen a Cuban fighter who wasn't, you know, skilled.
They're born hooking off the jab.
Yep.
As we come to the end of round number 1, these are junior welterweights. Oddly enough, though, here on Heavyweight Explosion. Round number 2, scheduled for 8. These are junior welterweights. Undefeated Diosbelys Hurtado. He's in the blue and white striped shorts. Cesar Flores out of Sonora, Mexico. He's in the green and gold with the fringes. A little more aggressive now on the part of Flores coming out there. He's only got 1 knockout in his entire career. Hurtado catches him coming in. Great hand speed. Look at that right hand lead, John.
And so fluid, Arnie, in his motions, and he knows where he is in the ring, where he wants to be at all times. Very impressive for a young fighter.
You just really can enjoy watching him work. Good lateral motion, leg speed. Hard to hit.
How would you like to chase this guy around the ring all night while he's throwing leather at you and then moving away?
Goes to the body there.
Very difficult style to try to overcome if you're the opponent.
But he fights backpedaling. He's almost like a pocket version of Ali. He's got a lot of Ali moves. But very tough to be effective moving backwards. Well, he really sits down on his punches when the time is right.
Snaps that jab. He threw the left hook a little bit wide that time. Needs to shorten up on that particular punch. Not telegraph it so much. He's got that looping overhand right that he throws with great velocity and quickness.
Referee Toby Gibson not having some of the problems that he had in this heavyweight fight tonight with Will Hinton. Not much time for, or even an opportunity for Flores to grab on and hold. It's certainly not Hurtado style.
Just so fluid to watch Hurtado in the ring. I'd like to see him shorten up his punches a little bit, particularly with the left hand, though, Arnie. Has a tendency to throw him a little bit wide. You know, with a more experienced fighter, he could pay for that with a counter right hand someday.
Throws a little bit too far from the outside. If we had to find one thing wrong with him,
we couldn't give him an A+.
Nah.
Not us.
Under 40 seconds to go in round number 2. It's scheduled for 8. It's been all Hurtado so far. No knockdowns thus far in the fight. Coming to you in the Cedric Kushner Sports Network.
You know, I love this kid's jab. I'd like to see him even use it more. But he has so many other weapons that
and you've got that kind of arsenal. You know, he's going to use all the moves he's got.
Embarrassment of riches.
Arnie Tokyo Rosenthal along with John Saraceno. Hope you've enjoyed our show thus far this evening. Referee Toby Gibson is like anonymous in this fight as opposed to the last one. As we come to the end of round number 2, it's scheduled for 8. Round number 3. Flores again comes out like he did in round number 2, trying to be more aggressive and chase Hurtado. Hurtado catches him with the left hook walking in. Not much punching power in the part of Flores. He's only got 1 knockout in his professional career, compared to the 11 of Hurtado in his 16 fights.
You know, I guess if you had that one attribute of boxing, perhaps hand speed would be the one thing you might choose first. If you were going to build a bionic fighter.
I would tend to agree with you, John, that hand speed can make up for almost everything else, and it can take somebody totally out of their fight plan. And I mean, I watched that with Murphy Sosa, who I thought was going to have some sort of a shot with Roy Jones and be competitive. And within 90 seconds of the first round, I saw Jones' hand speed and how perplexed Merck was, and just took a step backwards. And I said, whoa. And Jones is, for my money, and in my lifetime, the fastest that I've seen hand speed.
His guns blaze, no question about it.
Hurtado's still young, and he can catch up to that speed. He's actually gone the 10-round distance one time, winning the lightly regarded NBA junior welterweight title back in December, actually New Year's Eve '95.
2 good right hands by Hurtado there. Kind of got Flores backing up a little bit.
Oh, good overhand right, and Flores is hurt.
3 good shots here with 1:10 to go in the 3rd round. And you got to wonder how long Flores is going to hang in there, getting belted around the way he is.
I think Hurtado's having a lot of fun with this. I don't think he perceives Flores obviously as any threat. He's trying a lot of different moves. He didn't jump on him when he hurt him before.
No, he didn't.
But I think he feels that Flores can't hurt him. He's a light punching fighter. As we mentioned earlier about other fighters, eggs do not get nervous.
And now Flores is complaining he got hit low. Toby Gibson just kind of ignored him as he stepped back towards the ropes and grimaced.
As I was saying, eggs do not get nervous when Flores walks by. Good left hook. Lands. Hurtado starting to pick up the pace. As we come to the end of round number 3, we're scheduled for 8.
There's something.
4th round, we're scheduled for 8. Diosbelys Hurtado out of Santiago, Cuba. He's in the blue and white striped shorts. Cesar Flores out of Sonora, Mexico.
Flores looks very determined. I'm sorry, Aaron.
But no, what you're saying is correct, though, John. Flores comes out every round looking determined for about 15 seconds.
The fight goes out, I'm going to get smacked.
And that's the end of it.
I think he's more upset by what he perceives to be foul play in that last round.
Flores has been stopped 5 times in his career. Most recent fight, March. Because again, we have a discrepancy in these records. That was March '92, but of course he's fought since then down in Mexico.
You know, another thing too, obviously an angry fighter is not necessarily an effective fighter in the ring. You want to be able to control that emotion.
And it was a beautiful feint by Hurtado. He's got some moves way beyond his ears.
He's picking off a lot of those shots with his gloves too.
He parries beautifully. One jab just got in there. It's the only jab that I've seen Flores land in the fight so far.
That throws a chopping right hand. 2 body shots there, borderline on Flores.
I think one was below the border, but Toby Gibson let it go because I know he saw it.
Where, maybe Flores?
Again, our one criticism, and he did it again there, he has a little bit of a tendency to throw looping from the outside. You get a sharp puncher that slips, but he's so fast he can get away with it.
And his reflexes, his hand and foot speed, just tremendous. It's like a gnat on water. He made a slick move there. He faded to his left, went to his right, threw a quick right hand. I don't know if it really landed cleanly, but you could just see the natural ability of Hurtado. I wonder a little bit about his punching power, though. He's a very sharp, accurate puncher, definitely a sharpshooter. But is he going to have the power to keep bigger and better junior welterweights off of him?
Well, time will tell. The fact that Anthony Ivory went the distance with him and was a veteran, that's a little bit of a barometer. So we come to the 22nd mark here in round number 4.
Again, we have to stress he's 23 years old. Of course, in Cuban boxing terms, he may have been fighting already 20 years.
Round number 5, scheduled for 8. It's Hurtado in the red, white, and blue. Flores in the yellow. No knockdowns thus far in the fight, and Flores showing a lot of durability, John. I'm incredibly surprised that he's still here, especially considering Hurtado's punching power. The uncanny ability, though, really being able to fight moving backwards.
Remember when Pernell Whitaker turned pro after the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics, he had similar kind of moves. I don't think quite as quick as Hurtado, but as he grew into his weight a little bit and became a seasoned pro, you saw him setting down on his punches more, and I think you're going to see the same thing with a guy like Hurtado.
But even in his early fights, he never had the punching power that Hurtado had.
No. He's a sharp puncher and a clever puncher. But Hurtado looks like he has a little bit more snap.
But it's interesting to watch him backpedal here because, you know, so reminiscent of Muhammad Ali. And Ali used to do his road work running backwards. He would do, you know, half a mile, and then switch off. And
what a
you
natural.
almost have to be able to do this kind of backpedaling that he's doing here. But he's throwing a lot less punches now in round number 5 than he's threw in the earlier rounds, because we're halfway gone in round number 5.
I would not want to keep up with Hurtado on a dance floor. That's for sure.
Nice glancing left hook, but didn't step down. Now he sat down on that one.
Now, it would be good if he did a little bit more of that. I think he'd be a little more effective and maybe get the desired result quicker.
Flores continues to stalk him and move forward.
Flores isn't marked at all. His face is showing no signs of wear and tear.
The funny thing is, as much as he's getting hit, he's not intimidated at all by Hurtado. Instead of retreating himself, he's chasing, trying to land the shot.
Well, Hurtado may not be the puncher we necessarily think he is at times, because certainly Flores keeps pressing the fight, and he's not really, you know, connecting that much, and he's getting hit a lot.
First time I saw him throw an uppercut in this fight, a nice right uppercut.
I don't know about you, Arnie, but I'm getting a little dizzy watching this guy in front of us.
It's definitely continues to circle. Can move both ways. Although he moves best as I'm watching him to his left.
He's got more moves than the round card girls do.
Tends to circle to his left as we come to the end of round number 5. Another easy round for undefeated Diosbelys Hurtado in our foray into the junior welterweight division here on Heavyweight Explosion.
There's some.
Hurtado out of Santiago, Cuba.
The funny thing is he makes it look so easy. As, you know, the good fighters do. And if people only realize it's not that easy to get up there and do what he's doing.
You notice the feint. He feints that right-hand lead and then whacks him with the jab. Now he's really starting
nice
to open
combination.
up. And it looks like he wants to finish Flores this round.
If he's wearing his shoes out.
Moves a lot better to his left than he does to his right. Tends to circle more that way. When he wants to go the other direction, he tends to do more of a walk-out shuffle. Wow. Big uppercut lands inside.
He threw it far on the outside and hit the chest of Flores. It's a pretty tough punch to throw from that angle and be real effective with it. I guess he was trying to surprise him. Tried to drop the right hand in there.
Nice left hook lands a minute gone by in round number 6. Hurtado's in the striped shorts. Flores is in the green and gold combination. No knockdowns thus far in the fight. Referee Toby Gibson hasn't had much to do. He might be, although I'm looking at him watch Hurtado, and I think he's just as impressed as we are with all the moves and skills for a young fighter like that.
Hurtado threw a 2-punch combination there with the left and then followed up with the short, snappy right uppercut. It missed the target, but he had the right idea.
The junior welterweights here on Heavyweight Explosion. Earlier this evening, Ahmad Abdin stopped Will Hinton in 4 rounds in a big upset knockout. Jeff Wooden got stopped in 4 by Everton Davis.
Huge upset, and particularly the way the fight ended. Jeff Wooden, I think, was the most stunned man in Las Vegas.
In spite of the fact that he'd been knocked down, very quick whistle on the part of Kenny Bayless. And there's already been some talk at ringside with matchmaker Bill Benton about the possibility of putting them 2 together again.
And he was in complete control of that fight up to that point.
Pitching a shutout, and it dropped Davis in the 2nd round. Conversely, Abdin totally in control of his fight all the way through with Hinton. And a great measuring stick for just how much Abdin has improved since his last fight with Will Hinton. So here we are, coming in round number 6. And Diosbelys Hurtado having his way with Cesar Flores.
Flores is complaining because Hurtado threw a right hand and it glanced off his ear and shoulder and it stung him. And he complained about it, but
I'd complain too.
I don't know if that's an illegal blow. It just happened to miss the mark.
Not illegal. No. Round number 7, and what's really interesting here is we had something that, at least on paper, we looked at as a possible lopsided match, and we're in round number 7 of a scheduled 8-rounder with undefeated and heavy-hitting Diosbelys Hurtado, 16-0, 11 knockouts against Cesar Flores with the disputed Mexican record. Oh! Toby Gibson rules it no knockdown, but we could have really had an upset going here.
Saying it was a slip by Hurtado.
And, you know, in the fights that looked like they would be longer distance-wise, Ahmad Abdin and Hinton stops in 4. Davis and Wooden figured to go some rounds. That stops in 4. Here's the fight that we figured would go short. And we're in round number 7 of the scheduled 8 rounds.
Hurtado snuck a little low shot there below the border. Got away with it because he threw it very close position.
See, if Hurtado really wanted to, I'm just under the impression, John, that he could sit down and end this fight. If he would stop dancing and just and put Flores out of there.
The way he's moving and continues to move through 7 rounds, I mean, that's not likely to happen. It's obviously the style he's fighting. But you're right, he certainly has the skill and the ability and perhaps the punch to finish off Flores. Maybe he just likes to fight.
Oh yeah, I think he's having a good time.
Right? You made that point earlier.
Don't get me wrong, as we're more than halfway gone here in round number 7. It's scheduled for 8. There's been no knockdowns thus far in the fight.
But why stick around if you don't have to? Anything can happen.
But it's been all Hurtado, and it almost did. You know, there was a second there where I thought that Hurtado got dropped by Flores. Referee Toby Gibson ruled it a slip.
Well, he's got a very effective jab when he wants to use it. Slapping with the right hand by Hurtado. I'd like to see him double or triple up on the jab and follow in with a straight right hand. Wow.
Well, Hurtado's definitely not from the school of I want to take a couple of shots to give a couple. He does not, you can tell by the way he fights, does not like to get hit. And has the speed and finesse to not have to get hit if he doesn't want to. He's starting to sit down on his punches a little bit more now and off the merry-go-round, John.
Well, you can't afford to blink against this guy. And Flores' legs look like they're not really there. He just tried to throw a combination. He was totally off balance and was just stabbing the air with his gloves. He's not moving like he once was, Arnie Flores. He's not moving forward and pressing it like he was.
When we come to the end of round number 7, though, we are going to go into the 8th and final round here on Heavyweight Explosion. I'm Arnie Tokyo Rosenthal and John Saraceno. 8th and final round.
Maybe he just wanted to practice the mambo.
Undefeated Diosbelys Hurtado, 16-0, 11 KOs, looking to keep his undefeated streak alive, and it's been all Hurtado, although there's no knockdowns thus far in the fight. Cesar Flores continues to stalk. Beautiful backpedaling continues from Diosbelys Hurtado.
The best way to describe Hurtado's style in the ring is he actually glides. At times it doesn't even look like his feet are touching the canvas while he's moving, if that's possible. There's an optical illusion. You know, maybe we'll get some of the famous magicians here in Las Vegas to come in and study that for us and tell us what he's doing exactly. I mean, I'm amazed at his foot dexterity in the ring.
Nice 4-punch combination, but oddly enough, it's almost like he doesn't want to put Flores out of there tonight. He must know that we needed the extra rounds for the broadcast as well. But all kidding aside, he's, you know, he hits him with a 4-punch combination, stings him, and somebody else might jump on him. And even there, it looked like Flores was ready to fall sideways. And when Hurtado is backpedaling, Flores has no chance, John, whatsoever of touching him.
He's got less than no chance.
But incredibly durable. And the odd thing is his face is not really puffed up from all the shots he's taking.
No. Well, I got to question Hurtado's punching power. I really do. He's a sharpshooter, but I'm unconvinced about what he's packing in those gloves for power.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, going the 8-round distance with Anthony Ivory last fight is a bit of a barometer for what happens when he moves up in class and fights a tougher guy. He has been 10 rounds. He went 10 rounds with Desi Ford. He stopped in the 10th, and that was back on New Year's Eve. And Desi Ford, really should have been with him. But I can't. We may question the punching power at this point, but we can't take anything away from the incredible skills that he has at this moment. Very fast, great legs.
I mean, he is toying with Flores at this point to fight in the 8th round. These guys could fight 100 times, and the result would be the same every time.
Although I still believe as we're coming to the end of the fight, less than 25 seconds to go, that if he wanted to sit down and just, brawl with Flores for 60 seconds, he could stop this fight. Like, there he goes right there. And he doesn't, bounces him back, and instead of going towards him, he backpedals. He only knows how to move one way and then backwards.
That jab knocked Flores back 5 feet.
Yeah. There you have it, the end of the fight, end of 8 rounds. Diosbelys Hurtado almost certainly will be improving to 17-0. Didn't get his 12th knockout. That's his 2nd straight fight that's gone the distance.
Well, if he doesn't improve to 17-0, this will be the last fight I ever watch. I will be done with boxing.
Well, I have to say, this is also, John, the first time in his career, in his young career, but nevertheless a 17th pro fight where he's had 2 fights go to distance in a row. And Cesar Flores almost certainly will either drop down to 2-10 or 14-8, depending on which record you believe. But nevertheless, I tip my hat to him. He hung in there. And
he didn't give up.
He chased Hurtado for 8 rounds, but all Hurtado. No knockdowns in the fight.
That's what you call it.
It should be a major shutout. Look for a lot of 80 points. But we're going to throw it up to our ring announcer, Chuck Hull, and he'll tell us exactly where we're at. There you go, Chuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the decision of the judges. We have a unanimous decision. Judge Lou Tabbitt and Dave Moretti each score the bout 80-72. Judge C.J. Ross scores the bout 80-71. For the winner by unanimous decision, Diosbelys Hurtado.